right, guys, welcome into the home of the hobby, Pull Wax Podcast. We have a very special guest today by the name of Kunal, Sports Card Invest. I hope I said that right. Was that okay?
Perfect. That was perfect.
I didn't botch it. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. Obviously, since we've started at Pull Wax, all we've wanted to do is grow the hobby and get all the information out there to people. There's such an information gap that a lot of people take advantage of and leave sour tastes in people's mouth of people that come into the hobby. I think it's super important to have you on the show today. I've seen your content for a while. You're very transparent, open, honest with people. And because of people like you, there's longevity in the hobby. And I just want to shed light on who you are, a little bit about your brand, and have our followers get to know you. So give us a quick intro, man. Where are you from? What do you like? What do you do? And keep us posted.
Yeah. No, first of all, appreciate you having me on, Michael. It's an honor to be here. I can give you a little rundown of how I got into cards and kind of my upbringing a little bit. So I grew up in the SF Bay Area, and the SF Giants won the World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014. And so it was kind of a golden era for baseball in the Bay Area. And so that really got me into the baseball card scene at that time. I'd go to all my local card shops, collect the SF Giants players, all that probably in that 5-6 year span growing up. And then I got out of cards for a little bit. I was very entrepreneurial, though. I had a media page that started, an NBA media page called NBA Downtown, that ended up growing to around 100.
That was you?
Yeah. So
I know that bit. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I did that throughout school, and that, allowed me to do content and media for the NBA for a little bit, internships with the NBA, all that type of stuff, which was pretty cool. And it kind of helped me. I really just love growing things, and I had a very entrepreneurial mind. I grew up in Silicon Valley, which is pretty much like a lot of the big companies that you've heard of, Google, Apple, all started.
How old were you when you had this page and you were doing all these entrepreneurial things?
I think I started the page around 15, 16.
And you were collecting cards in the 2010, 2012. How old were you then?
Like 10.
Okay, so you basically started your entrepreneurial journey come up cards when you were 10, doing the buying and selling, understanding the value of a dollar, communications, etc. And then you took it to the next level with that. And it's so crazy because I assume that you were a lot younger when you started, just because there's so many young people that start out so young, 8 years old, 9 years old. So it's so amazing to hear that story.
I would definitely say that was it. I would say when I was first buying in 2010 to probably 2015, that was probably mostly collecting. I didn't really sell any cards. I still had my childhood collection. I still refused to kind of like sell it because it's really what got me into it. And it was a lot of like, Buster Posey, Tim Lincecum, that whole Giants team, and some Warriors. I wish more, obviously. But I would say 2019 or so, I really started to see the buzz in the sports card market again. I would resell sneakers on StockX, and all of a sudden I see like a trading card tab, and I'm like, wow, like the fact that, it made it that far was pretty crazy. And, I really fully dove in at that point, and, I sold every sneaker I had, kind of cashed out a lot of other stuff, stocks. And I was like, I'm going in. This is my passion, because sports and business were my two passions. And when I kind of saw an opportunity that was able to blend them so well, where I could, have that my love of sports, where I'm growing these media pages, I'm doing all that, and combine that with my passion for business and being able to buy, sell, trade cards. I really saw that as a unique opportunity. And so I was willing to take the risk. I kind of went all in. And when I started buying cards, having the media background, the first thing I would do was like post the card I was buying on Instagram. I created that, the page that we now call Sports Card Invest. It was, we got that handle back in the day, but Sports Card Invest that today kind of started that way, with posting the cards I was buying, and I'd have a little blurb about why I bought that card and why I bought that player. And probably within 4 or 5 months, I would have probably, no joke, 25 to 40 messages a day of like, hey, what card are you buying next? Like, is this guy a good investment? Is this person a good investment? Is football a good buy right now? Just all sorts of hobby questions from people getting into the hobby. And then, of course, COVID hit and the market absolutely took off. And my page kind of took off with it. We were like kind of an intro page for when you get into the sports card industry. A lot of people trying to learn would come to us. And that's where I kind of saw it as I couldn't respond to everyone on a daily basis. And so I ended up creating a newsletter where I'd kind of just share my thoughts on the sports card industry. And that took off. We probably had at one point 3,500 to 4,000 paid members on our weekly newsletter. And so that was a part of our business the whole time while I was buying, selling, and trading cards and documenting my journey on it with YouTube and Instagram, and just using everything I knew on the media side to kind of help blend that with the sports card side. And so, yeah, I mean, that's continued, to this day. Right now we do more like private consulting as opposed to the weekly newsletter. We still have it, but it's mainly private consulting that we do, along with, of course, going out to shows, buying, selling, trading cards. We have a couple investment funds that we started now. So we have one that's like a seasonal investment fund that's a little bit more midterm. Then we have a longer term fund. Then we have like a flipping fund. So kind of branch those into those three categories. But yeah, I mean, the sports card industry is, taken on a life of its own over the last 6 years. And, it's pretty incredible how far everything's come.
No, it's absolutely incredible to hear your story. Wow, I just relate so much to you. I came from the sneaker industry before I started Pole Wax. I had a sneaker store. It's so crazy to hear like your turning point, what made you go all in. And that's what this podcast is all about. Like, I love asking that question. Like, what moment did you realize it was all in? And obviously for you, it was you were on StockX. You saw there was trading cards. You realized, wait, I don't love sneakers as much as trading cards. Let me go all in here. Similar to me, Pole Wax started in 2019. That's when we really started promoting the breaking and the content and, got the new age, young new school in. Like, I remember when I came in 2018-ish, everything was outdated. Everything was old. There was no whatnot. There was no eBay Live, etc. So it was just a really great time. And I love to see how you're still in it and thriving more than ever. Everybody wants a credible source, not someone that wants to profit on every message, but someone that's just going to deliver quality information. And I think that's what the hobby needs the most. That's what Fanatics wants. That's what Whatnot wants. That's what all the major corporations want, is new blood. And how can they retain it, right? Exactly. So people like Sports Card Invest is amazing for the hobby because you give people the critical information and now they're applying their hard-earned money into funds with you. So I just want to give you a pat on the back, man. Like, what you do is absolutely exceptional. I'm learning even more about you now than I did. I did a little bit of homework, but this is just like next level info, and anything that we can do to provide help, whether it's for the newsletters or our information, like we take very big stances on wax, and like we're pretty good at predicting, what's good, what's bad, what's going to be midterm, long-term, etc. So I'm sure there'll be tons of collaborations. We'd love to collaborate with you on content, and we call ourselves Home of the Hobby because we have always been a home of the hobby, and we always want to collaborate with people that are doing great in this space and shed light, on companies like yours. So all is good stuff. So you're a Warriors, Giants,
49ers
fan.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. The Bay is great. Those Tim Lincecum days were just like electric.
I know. No, I feel like Barry.
And you had the coolest closer ever, Brian Wilson.
Yeah. The beard. Yeah.
Good times.
For Halloween when I dressed up in that beard with the Brian Wilson.
What'd your parents say when you did that?
They were just like, all right, I don't know what this is, but sure.
That's awesome. What shows are you going to be traveling to this year?
Yeah, so I would say summertime is going to be very crucial. So of course there's Fanatics Fest.
By the way, Fanatics Fest is such an awesome show. Like, I heard so many people that are like, oh, it's not about cards, it's about this, it's about that. Everyone says things, but when you get to Fanatics Fest, I actually did more deals at Fanatics Fest than the National. So I don't know like what people say about certain things, but just like my advice to all you guys, about specifically Fanatics Fest, before you listen to someone's opinion, just go and see it. I've heard amazing opinions, but I'm just saying I've heard people say stuff about cards that is just not true. And I urge you to see it for your own eyes and make your own.
100%. Yeah, no, it's such a unique show. I feel like, I mean, obviously I went there for the first one, doing media for it. And I feel like my two worlds, kind of like the NBA and media space and the sports card world, just like colliding with like pop culture too. You know, the experiences that I've had there, like when I think of memories of like shows, I feel like it's right up there at the top. And the fact that it's so close to national, it's going to be a pretty crazy time.
It's going to be nuts. When you say like content, you really focused on NBA content specifically?
Yeah, before I did my sports card stuff.
Yeah. When you did all those internships and stuff like that, but did you ever get into other content for other sports, or was strictly basketball?
So strictly basketball, but now we're right now trying to blend sports in general with the hobby at these different events. So we did the Super Bowl this year, which was pretty fun. So we had Super Bowl media access this year, which we got to interview a lot of players, ask them what their most expensive cards sold for, kind of educate them about the hobby a little bit behind the scenes, which was very fun.
Awesome.
We did Super Bowl. I did spring training for baseball. I did NBA All-Star Weekend, of course. So trying to go out to like more of these actual events and bring the hobby to these events as much as we can. And so that's been a lot of fun. And that's been more recent, like this past year or so, where I've been trying to tap more back into it, especially with the brand, and partnered with some media guys who are helping me bring a lot of that to life. So yeah, I would say right now is kind of a time where we're trying to branch off. Of course, being in the hobby and kind of having that consulting side, you know, I've been able to consult for a bunch of athletes across different sports, you know, between MLB, NBA, and NFL mainly. And so with a lot of these connections too, we're able to have a unique, I guess, like lens of the way that these players kind of view the hobby. One moment that kind of sticks out, like bringing new people to hobby. Grant Williams is a good friend. I think he's a good friend of your guys' too.
Yeah.
We brought him some packs, and like we were just ripping him with Kneppel and bringing a lot of his teammates into the hobby.
You hit a Con auto that day. No?
One hit a Brawny patch auto out of 10.
Well, I saw Con and Grant ripping it. My close friend's Ryan Shazier. I have his jersey behind me. Ryan Shazier, you know, I ripped packs with him back in the day. This was like 2018. He's like, yo, what is this? Like, what is wrong with you? And now he sees what it is now. Like at first it used to be like, oh, you guys are nerds. And now it's like, oh my God, is my card worth $1 million? And how can I get it and everything else? I think once they saw the money attached to it, they realized how serious it is. And obviously so much sponsorships and opportunities for them. Like their autograph is worth so much money. And you know, it's really amazing to see. Also, from a content perspective, like when you look 2019, 2020, 2018, there wasn't many athletes dealing with cards. And now, obviously, after Fanatics effect, you see Shohei Ohtani dealing with cards. You see all of these famous athletes, Wembanyama, they did a really good job of. Like, they're doing leaps and bounds of what Panini did. And it's just awesome, like that the breakers aren't the ones that have to market the products or the content creators, and it's on ESPN. It's on, you know, I'm playing MLB The Show and I see Bowman in the outfield and I see Topps in the outfield. It's like next level stuff of what they're doing. And they've really, you know, raised the hobby and raised the awareness of it so much. And we're just getting started. Like everyone's like, oh, I missed my time. It's like the same thing with Bitcoin. We're like, oh, it was 5,000, then it was 10,000, then it was 20,000, then it was 30,000, then it was 70,000, 100,000. It's super early. And it's nice to see because I've spoken to experts that in 2020, they told me the hobby's going to die. In 2021, they told me it was going to die. In 22, in 23, in 24, 25, they all said it was going to die. And now they don't say it's going to die because they say it's too big. So you can clearly see that there was a lot of speculation if our industry was going to survive. And now it's not about when, it's about how high. So it's just a beautiful time to be a part of it. And I feel that the information is what's needed the most. A lot of people want to sell you their break. A lot of people want to sell you their card. but you're not going to make money off free information, which nobody wants to sit around and do because listen, ultimately running a breaking business is nonstop, 24/7. It's one of the hardest businesses to own. And shout out to all the breaking companies out there. I know how hard it is with the payrolls and the salaries and the employees and the turnaround and breakers getting poached. It's just nonstop warfare. So I understand how difficult it is. But ultimately, it's all about the information. And you are going to last a very long time because you get it. You understand that the customer is the most important. And it's just so awesome to see someone of so young be so knowledgeable and so, wise beyond your years. And it's because you've been entrepreneuring since 10 or latest 15. So you've been in it probably longer than, it's very impressive, man. It's very impressive to see how much you've grown. It gives me the goosebumps to see for real because you love what you do and you continue doing it at a big level. And if there's anything that we could do to support, again, we're here to do so.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've seen you guys at a bunch of shows and, really appreciate the kind words. I think that it's been, seeing all these companies, like you said, come up. And the beauty of the hobby is there's so many different ways you could take it, right? So could be an information business. It could be, of course, you have content creators like yourself. You have breakers like yourself, right? So you could be a flipper. You could be or you could take the tech side of the hobby, which a lot of my friends have done, and try to create tech platforms and trading card platforms. And, you could focus on grading cards. You could focus on whatever it is that you're trying to do. And so I think that's what makes the hobby so beautiful is there's a million different ways you could take a spin on it. And there's people who really just see it from a financial side. There's people who see it from a collecting side. And I think it's just a place where there's something for everyone, I feel like.
Yeah, it's all around fun. As long as you have the right information, you're ripping responsibly and you're living within your means, collecting what you like, buying what you like. I want to make a very big point out here because ultimately this podcast is for people to learn about the hobby, whether it's becoming an entrepreneur and creating a business within the hobby, whether it's just being a collector and just having fun with it, or whether it's getting a job. Being an entrepreneur is very tough. And I promise you, it's not for everyone. So there's people that have made 200K in a year, 500K in a year, etc., by working in companies in the space, whether that's at Fanatics, whether that's at Whatnot, whether that's at Polwack. For example, let's just talk about breaking for a second. People make a lot of money and then people could start their own businesses. I've had so many I've had over hundreds of people. I've had breakers that have started with me that have started their own businesses. I have breakers with me that have been here for 5 years that have made a ton of money. I had breakers that went to other breaking companies, What you do, what you put in is what you get. And when you're growing, I've had people that aren't breakers that were managers that went on to do other things. You get what you put in. Everybody sees everything and you get to take this home with you. It's not like a job where you work at a Foot Locker, you work, you quit, you get fired and it's done. Mm-hmm. It's not like that. You're adding stuff to your resume and everybody sees it. The hobby's so big, but it's also tiny. It's very so tight. Niche, you know what I mean? So I just think that everyone's so focused on how much am I making every 2 weeks, but it's bigger than that. This is like your own university for you to apply this for future. And yeah, just a message to everyone watching this. You can take this to the next level and you just need to know a little bit. You just need to get that leap of faith. You have to trust yourself and you got to put the work in because it's obvious, everybody knows if you put the work in or not.
100%. And tagging along with that, I would say investing in relationships sometimes can be more valuable than making the extra buck at a deal, especially when it comes to these shows. I mean, obviously, Michael, right? Like going out to these shows, you see a lot of the same people across the country, across the world. I was at the Macau show this last year and it's a lot of the same people, even all the way across the globe, I'm seeing the same people. And so it really boils down to investing in these relationships and building strong foundation. A lot of my business revolves around the investment side of the sports card industry, right? Like flipping, whatever it is. And all of that really stems from the people who do the best. And I tell everyone this, the people who do the best are the people that have very strong buyers and very strong sellers that you can work with long-term and build those relationships with, that you can, consistently, I guess, move volume or do well. And I think a lot of that just boils down to some people who have a shorter term mindset and are trying to squeeze every dollar that they can out of everyone in the beginning. And I think in the long term, that really kind of hinders you. And so, like you said, right, it's like having that long term mindset and really investing in relationships, and putting in what you are going to eventually get out, which is, making those long-term investments, maybe giving someone a bit of a deal at first, but really actually building a relationship with them and being in that mindset as opposed to making a dollar. And I think in the long term, it's really going to pay off. Have that longer term mindset. And I promise, like, if people have those two pillars down, I think in the long term, there's so much opportunity in the space, regardless of where you take it or where they're, obviously.
And don't judge the success off 2 weeks, right? You got to be patient with it. You can't be like, wait, I was so nice to this guy, that guy. I shaved off this, I shaved off that, and I didn't get anything. You can't give to get short term.
For sure.
And the one thing that I would like to add on to that is, let's say you bought a card for $100 and that was your cost. Like, you're not going to sell the card for 50 to build a relationship, right? So, but you could think outside the box. If you have a newsletter and I have an Instagram, I can comment on your post.
Yeah.
That cost $0. I can if I know you're a credible resource, I can share your post. That costs $0. Now I'm already building a relationship. I showed support to your business. You're inclined to want to do X, Y, and Z with me.
Yeah.
This is ways to grow. This is ways to grow community. But again, make sure it's a credible source. Don't just go reposting anyone's stuff, because that can go fire back against you, as we see a lot of people come in and come out of this industry very fast. You saw card porn as like the leader of the industry, and then in a week, the FBI was looking for him, right? So it's like there's a catch-22, and you have to lead with love, and you have to be positive, and you have to do all of the things, but you must do your homework on people.
For sure.
And you can't predict the future, but you don't want to align yourselves too much with certain people that can, shed back negativity or whatever it is. Where can they sign up for your newsletter? Where can they get consulting? If we have some high-end buyers here that want to, have a free consultation or want to get their skin in the game, like, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah. So I would say primarily through Instagram at SPORTSCARD Invest. And if you go to the link in our bio, it would take you to our website where we have info about what we offer. And then my personal Instagram is Kunal, my full name spelled out.
I'm headed out of town tomorrow. I'm going to the Barcelona Atletico game. Cool. I have some work stuff over there in Barcelona, so I'm really excited for that game. And then it's Atletico Barcelona again in Madrid. I'm able to go to both of those games. It's all about soccer right now. Football, American, out. Baseball, it's tough watching the beginning, especially when the Giants are getting swept by the New York teams. It's like hard to watch. But most definitely, it's all about soccer right now. World Cup is happening. If you guys don't know, start doing your homework on soccer cards. Soccer is the biggest sport in the world. As you guys know, in Europe, things move slower. I remember when I was selling sneakers, they were popular, but when they hit Europe, they exploded.
It's true.
So just think about that. There's a lot of trends in commodities that happen. But overall takeaways, I'm going to give you my overall takeaways for the hobby in 2026. You give me yours and then we'll bounce. My takeaways. Fanatics is doing a great job marketing. There's a lot of opportunities to make money if investing properly, and don't bite off more than you can chew. If you can't afford it, do not buy it. If you can, then maybe do it. Those are my takeaways for 2026. What you got for the people?
100%. No, I would piggyback off those and also say, think wider. I think a lot of people are stuck into exactly, whether it's like just looking at the US market or just looking at the baseball market, or just looking at the soccer market. I think if you take a step back and try to add something to your arsenal this year. That's been something I've been trying to do every year.
So you're basically, what you're saying is you're buying all the rookie Spider-Mans.
Yeah. You never know, right? I want to go to more international shows this year. I'm trying to broaden. I think that was my goal last year, was to try to make it out to at least 4 international shows. This year,
how many did you do last year?
I did 3.
Okay. So close to your goal.
Close to my goal. A lot more domestic shows, but I think, be open-minded and learn something new. I think there's so much you can do in the hobby, and a lot of people are kind of stuck in one corner. And so I'd really, it's been something that's helped me grow a lot. And of course, I love traveling. I love getting out of my comfort zone and learning new things, meeting new people, making new connections. I think that's what it's all about. And just enjoying the process. I think a lot of people are trying to rush a lot of things, and I was one of those people who was trying to, get everything I can as fast as possible. You
don't want instant success. It's not fun that way.
It's not fun that way.
It's not fun that way.
Staying patient and enjoying the process.
And tell people to pick up the phone and start filming themselves and posting it, because don't be scared of that.
I talked about that on Blez's podcast. I think that's one of the biggest things to do.
I love Chad.
Chad. Well, I know. He's a great guy. I've known him for so long, but
how long have you known him for?
Probably right when I got into the hobby. He was one of the first people who really supported what I was doing.
He's the best, dude. He's the best.
He's got a great passion for the hobby. I think that's really what the people who do
the hobby
is alive.
While I do that, can you tell the people where you look to buy cards? Like, obviously you have a big market of people that you deal with. Do you check auction houses, eBay? Talk to people about that for a second.
Yeah, all of that. I would say auction houses, eBay, Discord's another big one, Facebook groups. But I really, like Michael said, I think building your own kind of niche, even if it's super niche, just building your own platform on Instagram to sell, buy, make connections, have a hub for people to find you, I think is absolutely crucial. So I would say content is key. And if you want to have a long-term business in the hobby, I think having it at the bare minimum in Instagram where people can find you is super crucial. And so that's been where I've done a lot of business over the years, has been through my own Instagram that I built up through story sales, through making connections on there. And so I'd really encourage everyone to step out of your comfort zone, even if you're not a content guy. I've heard that a million times from people who can learn that skill very easily by just making a couple posts. It's going to be awkward.
Just don't be scared. Yeah. Like, I have people that own breaking operations and do things in the hobby. And I'll be like, hey, come to my warehouse or come to my HQ. And they're like, all right, no problem, but we're not filming. But they own the businesses.
Wow.
I'm like, no problem. We won't film. They come here, I lock the door, and I force them to film, because it's like, there's no excuse. There's just no excuse. And then after, every single time,
they love it.
They thank me. They thank me and they say thank you, and I say no problem. That's what we do here at the home of the hobby. Are you excited about Topps Chrome Football 2025? Are you going to be buying some of the singles?
It's going to be crazy. I think I'm going to wait a little bit because prices are probably going to pop out quite high. But
obviously those big cards, those 1 of 1s, those out of 5s.
That is true. If you can get your hands on them at the right price, it's going to be an awesome product. I really look forward to seeing it. I think the shields in the product are going to be pretty sick too.
For sure. Guys, anyone buying those cards, just know, any cards that aren't 1 of 1s or out of 5s, they're probably going to go down. At the beginning, they're going to sell high and then they're going to go lower. It just happens with every release worldwide, like across any release. So you can pay the bag for the big card. Don't worry about it, because you're never going to be able to find it and you're going to have to pay a premium, and it's okay to. But don't be paying a premium for out of 50s or out of 25s or out of 75s when they're just going to go down. Especially these like players that are like haven't done one thing in their career.
Yep. No, 100%. Definitely be careful.
Why does Joe Burrow sell for more than Dan Marino?
Man, I think there's such a recency bias when it comes to the sports card market. It's actually pretty crazy. I look at the sports card market, or the football card market specifically, and I see that more than ever. It's like people will pay more for a Cam Ward card than they will for a Joe Montana. And it just kind of is the way it is. And I think you have to tread very lightly. And I kind of view modern as flips for the most part, as opposed to long-term holds. Of course, there are a couple exceptions. Of course, Mahomes would be one of those for me. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking long-term, it's very tough to kind of justify a lot of these prices. But the market is the way it is. And I think there is a part of it that's embracing the way that the market moves. And if you're able to do things right, and follow those trends and do that well, I think there's great opportunity, especially now. I think with football season ending a couple months ago, there's a lot of stuff's kind of at a low point. I think football in general is at a low point, and right before the season starts, National Fanatics time is when the football market's usually at a high point, right before training camp. And so I think if you're able to kind of play those trends, it's a great opportunity. But yeah, if you look long term, 30 years down the line, the odds of a Jackson Dart, 101 that you pull out of Topps Chrome being worth the price it would be worth right now it's very low.
I was up all night last night watching Dwayne Wade. He's my favorite player. I was watching the 2006 finals, the 2011 finals. He was dropping 40. He was doing this. He was doing that. But his market is like 20% of Stephon Castle's.
Yeah.
If you had to guess one reason why this is happening in our market today, what is it?
It's excitement. It's hype. People like to own a card of a player they can watch on TV, right?
But is it not the kids? It's the kids.
For sure, yeah. I mean,
they don't know who Dwayne Wade is, but they know who Stephon Castle is because that's what they know. And they're telling their parents to buy in, and they're the ones driving the market of these new age guys. So in my opinion, it's a very safe investment to buy these old players because, yes, Dwayne Wade's not going to win a championship, but he's not going to get his rings taken away from him.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's cemented. I mean, the odds of any one of these young players having a career like Dwayne Wade, slim to none.
He's the best shooter. Like, he's up there.
Yeah, he's
there. Like top 3
of all time. Yeah. I mean,
it's right behind Kobe.
I would say so for sure. I think it's Mike, Kobe, and Wade for shooting guards. I personally love Dwayne Wade. He was
my favorite.
Was amazing. I got to spend some time with him at All-Star Weekend and talk to him about the hobby a bit, which is very fun.
That's awesome. I'm friends with his kid Zaire. I'm gonna give you one story, and then I promise I'll let you go.
Oh, good. Love it.
This is the year before we draft D Wade, so this is the summer of 2003.
Yeah.
I'm at my local hobby shop, BC Sports Collectibles in the Aventura Mall. Mm-hmm. I am 11 years old. In the hobby shop is Caron Butler and Dwayne Wade.
Wow.
We already drafted Caron Butler the year past.
Yeah.
I freak out because I see Caron Butler. So I run to Champs. I get on a basketball. I run back. Caron, can you please sign this ball? Yeah, of course, buddy. He signs it. Dwayne Wade gives me the ball back. And then he's like, hold on, kid. Let him sign it too. This is Dwayne Wade. Wow. He's not on the Heat yet. Or maybe he was just on the Heat. I don't want to get him in trouble. Maybe he was just on the Heat.
Yeah.
So Dwayne grabs the ball from me, takes the pen, about to sign, and I say, no.
No.
And I swear on everything I love, I grabbed the ball from Dwayne and I said, no, thank you, sir.
No.
Later on next year, I paid like $700 for an autographed jersey, and I ended up becoming really close friends with Zaire Wade, which is his son, and I tell him that story all the time. So mad funny how the world works.
Too funny, yeah. You just never know.
You literally never know.
It's talent. It's a lot of people think they have an edge, and it's fun. I feel like a lot of people have talent, but to get to that all-time great level, it requires something else inside of these players. And I think
OJ Mayo had a lot of talent.
Of course, Greg Oden, all these guys had a lot of talent, right? So
it wasn't Greg Oden's fault. Leave Greg alone.
That's true.
All right, dude.
You're right.
Do you have like any story of the hobby that sticks out to you? Just like one quick anecdote that you could give us, and I promise you I'll click the red button. Just one moment that like sticks out as being a kid, being older.
Cool. I grew up watching Steph. He was my favorite player growing up, and I've got to spend a lot of time with him recently. I've done some work with Canvas Marketing. And so educating him about the hobby has been some of my coolest pinch me moments. This couple months ago, I was, asked him you can find on our Instagram, like me asking Steph, like, what is most expensive sports card sold for? What is most expensive sports card sold for? And he had no idea. And when I said 5.9 million, he was blown away, almost like speechless.
Yeah.
Cool. Just to educate these players about the hobby a little bit and get their genuine reactions. I feel like such a cool moment, especially guys I grew up watching, guys I really look up to, being in the same rooms and the fact that sports cards has got me into those rooms is pretty surreal, to kind of like look back on and think about. And so that would probably be one of my core memories, given Steph's my favorite player.
Did he think you were messing with him?
He was like, "Who bought it?" And it blanked at the moment because I know the alt guys pretty well. And Lior had bought it.
Lior.
Yeah. And so I blanked in the moment and I was like, I don't know. And then I thought I left his place, and then I was like, shit, I knew.
So Stephen Curry, I know you're watching this, Lior from Alt, owner of Alt, and Adam Lefko works at Alt also, or affiliated with Alt. That's our boy as well. Yo, man, you're super duper impressive. Your family should be proud of you. You're the man. Glad that we're able to build our relationship. And, for the people, like, this is the first time we've ever spoken, like, in depth and long format. And it was awesome to get to know you. And I wanted to do it on the call to make it just as organic as possible. So seriously, thank you for your time, dude. I look forward to getting this online, and we'll chat soon.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Michael.
Of course, man. Pleasure. Thank you guys so much. Leave that up and have a great day.